Hello, new wave of British heavy metal.com here. Today it is the 18th of November 2021. As always, if I could make the usual opening request for a favour, and that's if you would please subscribe to the channel, that'd be marvellous. Appreciate that if you would. Righty ho, today Albert Bouchard's Imaginos 2 bombs over Germany. Here's the second of Albert's take on that marvellous Imaginos random access myth where everything happens at once, that of course has sprawled all over various Blue Oyster Cult albums all their career. Albert, of course, being former drummer for the cult, and here's his second volume of his take on that marvellous Imaginos tale. And he's really come up trumps on this one. It's really, really good stuff. So different from what you might expect. And he's even roped in his brother Joe, Eric Bloom, Donald Roeser, Richie Castellano. So there's a strong BOC presence, and amongst other people as well. Even Ross the Boss is on this. And it's a varied continuation of that epic, sprawling Imaginos tale, as told by Albert in his own way, in his own versions of all the relevant BOC songs from way back when, as we move backwards and forwards through the cult's career and indeed time and space and everything else. For example, you know, on here we've got When the War Comes, OD'd on Life Itself, Dominance and Submission, sorry, to name but three of those classic relevant songs from way back when. And the general premise to this second chapter being more or less that pesky Magnum of Illusions influence history and whatnot, and that's resulted in World War I and World War II, a little bit of peace in between before and afterwards, and Imaginos keeping an eye on things through that black telescope. Musically, it's a wild and varied ride. It's so well put together, and it really is intriguing, again, as it was on Volume 1, to hear Albert's versions of those BOC staples that are relevant to this part of the Imaginos story. Take, for example, you know, when War Comes, you know, from that was originally on Club Ninja. It's so different than the original. It's a sort of a, how can you put it? It's almost a bit of a gentle, jazzy, folky type thing in parts. And Joe Bouchard pops up playing some blinding trumpet. You know, that's how different it is. There's some really excellent violin work on there as well. And towards the end, there's a really short but very spiky, unusual even guitar solo from Jack Rigg. Great stuff. So different, so enjoyable. Of the other BOC originals that you might remember, we've got like Screaming Disbusters, OD'd on Life Itself. They're not too far away from the originals. Il Duce, I think, is about Mussolini. That was his nickname, wasn't it, or what he was known as? That's a new one. Nice, upbeat kind of light-hearted thing. We've got Bombs Over Germany, or as you may be more familiar with it, ME262. And that rocks just as hard as the original back on Secret Treaties. Brutal riff, venomous vocals, marvellous. It really is. And the BOC classics keep on coming with Albert's versions of, like, Before the Kiss of Redcap, Dominance and Submission, The Red and the Black, and so on and so forth. Even Shadow of California, Cities on Flame. All sprinkled in between some new stuff or Albert's songs such as Three Sisters and Independence Day. It really is marvellous. So different, so varied, so enjoyable. The running order of the songs probably isn't in chronological order to the story, because, you know, that's probably all right, because the Imaginos yarn is, of course, that random access myth where everything happens at once after all. BOC fans such as myself will lap this up, but don't let that put you off. If you're not a Blue Oyster Cult fan, because there's plenty to enjoy here as well. It's not just for completists. It's great. It's a real grower, and as you get into the complexities and compare and contrast with the originals, though not to sit there and think, well, I like the original better or I don't, or anything like that. Albert's version's, of course, intentionally different. That's the whole point. It's his take on all of them. I say listen to it without prejudice, as though you're not familiar with the originals, and enjoy Bombs Over Germany for what it is and judge it on its many, many varied merits. And Albert, if you're watching this, don't keep us waiting too long for Imaginos 3, man. Get cracking on that right now if you haven't already. Right, that'd be great, Albert, if you can arrange that for us. As always, if you want to check the album out, there is a link to it on Amazon in the description below the video. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and take care.